Hamid, KTN News, Nairobi.
Something very close to home. More than 20 journalist associations under the Kenya Media Sector Working Group will be heading to court to sue the government and the ICT Principal Secretary, Professor Edward Kisiangani, for directing state agencies to withdraw all government advertisements from privately owned radio and television stations such as ours. According to the associations, the Kisiangani directive, in short, is short-sighted, erroneous, discriminatory, and therefore patently unconstitutional. Now, the associations have further termed the directive as the latest in a string of state actions clearly designed to clamp down on Kenya's freedom of the media and free press. David Mudhoka reports.
On Friday last week, ICT Principal Secretary Professor Edward Kisiangani issued a directive on behalf of the government that dealt private radio and television stations that have been earning from airing government advertisements a serious financial blow. In a memo to all state agencies, the ICT Principal Secretary directed them to immediately cease advertising through any privately owned TV and radio stations and advertise through state-owned Kenya Broadcasting Corporation (KBC) only. Days after that directive was issued, 21 associations of journalists, among them the Kenya Union of Journalists and the Kenya Editors Guild, have jointly faulted the ICT Principal Secretary over his decision to shut private TV and radio stations out of advertising opportunities offered by the government.
The Kisiangani memo to state officers and independent commissions is therefore an inexcusable breach of his oath of office, short-sighted, arbitrary, erroneous, malicious, discriminatory, demeans leadership and integrity principles, and therefore patently unconstitutional.
The associations say that the directive not only threatens to erode the freedom of media, but could also force closures and job losses in the media sector.
As we speak, we know that there are media houses that actually laid off colleagues as a result of a bad operating environment. We know that right now we've got colleagues who have actually downed their tools because the last time they were paid was in 2022. We know that there are colleagues who have gone for over 12 months without pay. And all these things are happening because we've made media environment very difficult to employ and retain the staff there.
Terming the directive as unconstitutional, the associations under the Kenya Media Sector Working Group announced that they will take legal action against the government and ICTPS Professor Edward Kisiangani.
Our lawyers are working on some papers so that we go to court, and I think once we file, you should be able to be notified that we filed in court, because all these policies, like we said, they will not go unchallenged. We'll challenge all of them.
The Kisiangani directive came barely months after the ICT ministry directed state agencies to place newspaper adverts on the Star newspaper only, edging out other newspapers such as The Standard and Daily Nation that boast of a significantly higher circulation. The directive further comes amid a ton of assurances from President William Ruto that he will safeguard the freedom of media, issued before he was elected president and even after climbing to power. David Mudhoka, KTN News, Nairobi.